Welcome to Campfire Football. I'm Sebastian North. Let's talk about unbeaten teams in Europe. There are very few left. Now, when I do this, I'm only talking about the top tier in each country, and I'm going down the list. I'm including the Maltese Premier League, the Irish Premier League, Scotland, the British Premier League, La Liga, Bundesliga, all those, but only the top tier, not the second, third, or fourth divisions. So in all of the top tiers throughout all of Europe, there are very few teams left who are unbeaten. Let's go through them. Now, I want to throw in one caveat straight from the start. The Israeli Premier League has two teams that are still unbeaten. That's Maccabi Tel Aviv and Maccabi Bnei Rayna. I don't know how to pronounce it. They are both still unbeaten, but the Israeli Premier League had to take a month-and-a-half break for obvious reasons, and they've only actually played 8 games. But now let's move on to teams who have actually played about half their season and still haven't lost. And there are only 3 remaining. Number 3. And this is a club that I had never heard of, but they are in the Welsh Premier League. It's New Saints FC. They have 14 wins, 2 draws. They're 6 points clear at the top with 2 matches in hand. So they're running away with the league, which is nothing new, actually. They've been champions 15 times in the last 20 years. But they do have kind of an interesting story. I looked into it and found, well, it's kind of fascinating, actually. The club was initially called Lansenfred, fantastic name. And then in the 90s, it was taken over by this local tech company called Total Network Solutions. They merged the name of the company with the name of the club. It was called Total Network Solutions Landskrona, totally ridiculous name. And then eventually just Total Network Solutions. Horrible. In 2006, the club went through another takeover, and eventually they were renamed to New Saints FC. And yeah, they've done very well since. They've won 15 titles. They are the most decorated club in Welsh Premier League football history. Now, because they win the league so much, they are able to enter the Champions League qualification rounds, but they've never managed to get past that third round and get into the group stage. So, well done to New Saints FC, and hopefully one of these years they're able to get all the way to that Champions League. That would be cool. Nice story, but kind of an irrelevant club in the grand scheme of things. Let's move on to bigger ones. Now, before the start of the weekend, Celtic and Bayern Munich were both on this list, but they both lost. Celtic, who had a 1-0 lead over Kilmarnock, threw it in the way in the second half, lost 2-1, and their unbeaten run in the Scottish Premiership is over. And Bayern Munich, wow, they lost 5-1 to Eintracht Frankfurt. They were completely destroyed. And here's the crazy thing about them losing by that scoreline. They had a 2.59 XG compared to the 1.85 XG for Eintracht Frankfurt. So now they've lost a match in the Bundesliga, which is obviously not the biggest deal, but Bayern Munich have competition this year. And they've also got Harry Kane, who's never won a title, and for some reason now there maybe feels like there's a curse following him to Munich. I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, let's go to a team that actually is still unbeaten. Number 2 on this list, PSV Eindhoven. They are perfect in the Eredivisie. 15 matches, 15 wins. That means 45 points. They're 10 clear of Feyenoord, who are in second. They're steamrolling everybody. They've scored 52 goals and only conceded 6. They also won the Johan Cruyff Shield, which is the Dutch Super Cup at the beginning of the season. And their only loss is in the Champions League. They were thumped 4-0 by Arsenal. They won 2 of their other games, drew 2 of the others. They're surely going to win the title the way they're going at this point. And moving on to the number 1 team in Europe. Statistically, this is the best team around. Bayer Leverkusen. Deservedly, they sit top of the Bundesliga. They have 11 victories, 3 draws, 5 wins out of 5 in their Europa League group, and they are in the quarterfinals of the Pokal. Xabi Alonso is getting a ton of credit for what he's doing there. Deservedly so. They are playing a fantastic brand of football, and they did not spend some crazy amount of money to make it happen. As a matter of fact, I made a video on the way the transfer window ended this summer, and one of the players that I selected as one of my possible bargain transfers was Victor Boniface. This is a guy who came from Union Saint-Gilloise for just around 15 million, and the way he's scoring goals, he could probably be sold for triple that in the next year or two. Alex Grimaldo has been on bangers only duty, and Florian Wirtz keeps showing people the class he has as a young player, that he will be a major one in the future. And Xabi Alonso, if he's able to pull off a title with this Bayer Leverkusen team, that would be massive for him. He would probably end up at one of the major clubs next year. So how far will Bayer Leverkusen go here? Could they break Bayern's insane stranglehold of 10 straight titles in the Bundesliga? Could they go deep in and maybe even win the Europa League? How far will they go in the Pokal? Dortmund, Bayern, Eintracht Frankfurt, they're all out, which gives them a great opportunity. Anyway, that's it. Those are the only teams left unbeaten in the Europe top flight tiers. It's kind of amazing how few there actually are. We'll see how long they can actually stay unbeaten and who's the last one standing. Thanks for stopping by. I'm Sebastian North. This is Campfire Football.